What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So let's take a quick step back and look at the bigger picture for a second. We closed last year with the Dow Jones hitting a new all-time high. This was on the back of the Fed announcing that they would be cutting rates 3 times in 2024. This week, the SP 500 reached a new all-time high, lifted by tech stocks like Nvidia and Meta, outperforming, right? But perhaps most importantly, GDP growth in the United States is projected to slow down from 2.4% in 2023 to 1.5% in 2024, before reaccelerating to 1.7% in 2025. Either way, the economy is finally slowing. So assuming that the data is right, rate cuts and easing monetary policy this year will be key to preventing the US economy from sliding into recession. All that makes for the type of macro backdrop that makes the stock market very happy, because it further supports that the Fed will have no choice but to cut rates to keep us going. So with that in mind, let's look at Virgin Galactic specifically. The stock has yet to see any upside this year. Instead, it closed on Friday at $1.92, down 11.52% for the week, and has lost 21.63% year to date. Things may appear grim, but it's not all unexpected, and we have some good news on the horizon. So in today's video, I'll go over the latest news around Virgin Galactic. We have a positive catalyst here to talk about. Then take a look at the analyst ratings, some changes here as well, and I'll close with where I stand as far as buying, holding, or selling. As always, this is not to be taken as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my personal approach to investing and a thought process behind it. I'd recommend watching all the way through so that you don't miss out on any pertinent information I'll be sharing. Drop the video an early like if you haven't already, and smash that subscribe button. Those are 2 easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. Okay, let's get into it. So to start, let's quick go back down memory lane. The last time we connected, here's what I told you about Virgin Galactic. Take a listen. And with the 50-day moving average sitting at $1.91, do not be surprised if we revisit that price to confirm support before exiting the sub $2 range once and for all. The everything rally, and this is what I want you to remember, should take a hold next year with all 3 major indices making new all-time highs. If Virgin Galactic can continue on this trajectory, they too will be beneficiaries of the overall market moving up. We are now back at exactly $1.91, with 2 of the 3 major indices having already made their new all-time high, of many more to come this year. Now, come next week, we have a major catalyst with the flight window of Galactic 6 opening. Let's take a look at the announcement Virgin Galactic released. The flight window opens on Friday, January 26, and will be the 11th spaceflight Virgin Galactic undertakes. This is also the first flight with all 4 seats occupied by private astronauts and no instructor on board. 3 different countries will be represented here, continuing Virgin Galactic's mission to democratize access to space for all. Astronaut 23 is from the Ukraine and the United States. Astronaut 24 is from Texas, United States. Astronaut 25 is from Austria. And astronaut 26 is from California in the United States. Michael Colglazier, Virgin Galactic CEO, offered this commentary, and I quote, "Our inaugural year of commercial services demonstrated our spaceflight system's ability to regularly deliver a safe and unparalleled customer experience for our astronauts and established new turn time records for reusable human spaceflight systems. We're excited to begin 2024 by bringing 4 new Virgin Galactic astronauts to space with our Galactic 6 mission," end of quote. It's important to note that the success of this flight is pivotal for Virgin Galactic for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it is the first of only 2 space flights this year, so success here will go a long way in maintaining positive, or at the very least, neutral sentiment for both investors and analysts alike. Reason number 2 is in a new plan Virgin Galactic communicated at the close of last year. You can catch that video here if you missed it. They stated that they are sufficiently capitalized to drive towards profitability in 2026, meaning that revenue from this flight plays into that calculus. So again, success here is paramount. Now, I know that I've harped on this point quite a bit, but execution and the ability for Virgin Galactic to continue to perform to the guidance and plan they've laid out is the key to keeping sentiment moving in the right direction. The last quick piece of news to note here, the full year earning results are currently expected to drop on February 26th. That's an estimated date, so take that with a grain of salt. But the point in telling you this is this flight is the only main catalyst between now and the end of February, right? So success here, again, should help keep the stock volatility in check. If things don't go well, again, we could see a lot of volatility here. So just keep that in mind. Now, let's take a look at analyst ratings and sentiment. The first call out, which is a positive change since the last time we spoke, is the overall consensus rating. It was upgraded from an overall moderate sell to now hold, made up of 6 total ratings. So we have 1 buy ratings, which is unchanged. We have 3 hold ratings instead of 2, which is great. And the sell ratings have now dropped to 2. So again, sentiment is shifting here. It's too early to get overly excited, but the execution Virgin Galactic has delivered to date is having a positive impact. The high end of the range remains unchanged at $4.50. Meanwhile, the low end increased from previously $1 to $1.75. The average consensus price target also increased from $2.08 to now $2.70. This implies a 40.63% increase from the current level and just over double your returns when we hit the top of the current range. We all know that with high risk comes high reward, and so for context, this would represent outsized returns compared to the market benchmarks if these gains came to pass. So with all that in mind, where does that leave me? What do I make of all this? My goal has been to continuously lower my average cost on Virgin Galactic by dollar cost averaging, right? I did tell you that I fully expected we could round trip back to this level, and here we are now. With that in mind, I sold the majority of my Virgin Galactic position during the last week of December, and so that may be a shocker to some, but why is that? Let's talk about that specifically. This was a strategic move, right, on my part that offers a few benefits. First off, a good portion of the shares I had purchased up until that point were under $2. That said, my overall position was still in the red. By selling all but 500, which has sold at $2.40, and you can see that transaction here, I did lock in my losses for the year, but the loss will now go towards deduction in my taxes. So I will get a little kickback thanks to that. Secondly, with the stock price now lower, I can use the amount I was able to salvage from the sell and make it go even farther, right? So I will be able to buy back more. Last but not least, once I buy back in next month, I will finally be able to drop my average cost down significantly, and from there, we'll simply hold or add more until year end. Now, the only drawback, and this is important to note as well, to this strategy is the fact that I have to wait a month at a minimum before I can buy back in. Otherwise, this would qualify as a wash sale and nullify the tax benefits. And so I gotta wait and hope that the way I think it will go is essentially how it plays out, which I'm fairly confident it will. The bottom line is sometimes you have to take a step back so that you can leap forward. This was again a strategic move and not related at all to a change in sentiment on my part as far as Virgin Galactic's ability to continue executing is concerned. So I'd say that judging by the stock decline starting in the last trading week of 2023, it is pretty evident to me that many others had the same strategy, right? So we saw the stock price drop rapidly along with the rest of the market as many investors likely rebalanced their portfolio. Looking at the technical chart, RSI is at 35.91, which means that we could realistically drop a bit lower, pushing the stock into the oversold zone temporarily. Remember that an RSI of 30 and below is oversold. This could happen before the space flight, then rebound and stabilize after the fact. Or it could go the other way around with momentum picking up coming into the week, carry us beyond the $2 mark, closer to $2.50, before losing steam and settling in the low $2 for a little while during Q1. Either way, I personally will be observing from the sideline until February rolls around and I can buy back in. The last thing I will say is this. The 50-day moving average moved up from $1.91 to now $2 even. Short of Virgin Galactic failing to execute to the plan, this stock is very likely to close out the year higher than where it is now. And I'd say that short of the company going bankrupt, which is very unlikely in my opinion based on their balance sheet, at least over the coming year, this is virtually the bottom for the stock price. So really, buying around $2 or less is a bargain in my opinion if you're investing for the long term. Yes, this is risky and there's lots of variables to take into account, but the upside here is significant, right, in my opinion. Personally, I'm willing to be patient and can stomach the volatility over the coming year and beyond. So this, to me, is well worth it. But on that note, that is it for me today. If you found value in my content, click the like button and share with others who you think could also benefit from it. For my newcomers, subscribe. It's free. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you too can stay in the know. I'll be back on Sunday for my weekly video. Till then, you can keep up with me here for crypto and NFT related news. Thank you for watching. Stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.